Most people don't care about inflation. They don't care about the markets, economics. They don't understand any of these things. They are just head down, do their thing, don't ignore what the powers that be are doing, and therefore they don't understand how broken and destructive it is. Ford said back in the day that if the average citizen understood the banking system, there would be revolts overnight or something to that effect. Here's a tweet I'm going to cover real quick, short show, and then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming. You have to care about inflation. You don't have to follow financial channels or be into economics or finance or any of these things to care, because you're caring at the grocery store. You're caring at the gas pump. This is why you have to care. This is why you have to protect yourself and your family. You have to know what they're doing. You have to have a strategy. This is the problem with markets that are manipulated by the government. This is a problem with fiat currency where they can just make money out of thin air. It affects every human on the planet that is living in society. If you live in the wild, in your hunter-gatherer, or you're off-grid completely, or whatever, you're probably okay. But even then, if society breaks down, people are coming for your shit. I promise you that. Here is a ridiculous tweet from a blue check mark. No surprise. I mean, they pretty much are in the business of saying stupid things to try to reinforce really bad ideas that the sheep believe. I am all for helping the sheep not become sheep and reminding the sheep that shepherds are there because they're keeping you alive for slaughter. You're an asset to them. They make money off you. This is what he says. US, left government, high inflation. UK, right government, high inflation. Germany, centrist government, high inflation. Italy, government, everyone in government, high inflation. Wild guess, it's not the government. Oh, this hurts me. It's so bad and so dumb and so wrong. Okay, so this is what I said. Who the F issues and manages the currencies to fund their deficit spending? How you came to the absolutely wrong conclusion shows your bias here. Government is the constant. Pretending what side matters when all they can't balance a budget is pure clownish, because that's what's going on here. They have central banks, they all have fiat currencies, they manipulate the money supply, and fundamentally what they do is they keep printing more money to fund the operations of government that they can't pay for. I'm pausing here on purpose. It's very easy to understand. Debt to GDP in America is 125%, the highest it's ever been. This is a very tight spot because if we raise interest rates to fight inflation, everything comes down. We can't even service our debt. And so what are they going to do? They're kind of stuck. Inflation's going to keep going on. They're going to try to control it the best they can. Every time they try to control it, they're going to break something. This is what you get when you manipulate currency, when you manipulate markets. The constant is government, deficit spending, and making fake fiat dollars, pesos, whatever out of thin air. That's what the constant is. So to say it's not the government is completely and utterly ridiculous, because if you remove the state, then the free market will decide on the money, and then nobody can control or manipulate the money, and you won't have this crap. You won't have these problems. It's actually very simple. It's very simple in what's going on, and then you can dig into all the nuances of it if you want, but it's still very simple. And what to do about it is, well, do your research, ideally, like spend some time, understand these things, read the history of money, read economics, like understand Austrian economics, understand Bitcoin. Why are so many people so adamant about Bitcoin and it changing the world? Buy some Bitcoin, right? Dollar cost average in, maybe have a little bit of gold and silver, have some resources, have your passports, have a plan, own real tangible assets, things that produce income for you, investment properties, businesses, etc. And most important of all, don't save your wealth and don't be beholden to just your income, which is in dollars, and don't hold your wealth in dollars, which is what they keep inflating away. Because every time they inflate money, they steal from all of us. They steal from the dollars in your bank account, in your pocket, under your mattress, and they steal from the dollars you make every week, 2 week, month. They steal from you in that way because they make more of this thing, fake numbers, that erode your purchasing power. That's what inflation is. It just inflates something, and therefore your purchasing power goes down because it breaks the supply and demand and scarcity, and the value of something when there's more of it is lower. It's very, 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 again, simple to understand the net effects and these very broad ideas. And it's actually pretty simple to protect yourself, but that is a little bit more complicated because there's a lot of different things and you have to know the pros and cons, etc. If you rely on your income that's in dollars, and if you save in dollars, and if you don't have assets, you're not protected. Your family's not protected. If this shit gets really bad, if we move into full-blown socialism and universal basic income because of their manipulation, which a lot of people think we're moving to, and I tend to agree with them because they're going to keep doing clownish things until the whole system breaks down. Only when the whole system breaks down and you have 100 million Americans that are just like, we're not paying taxes, we're not playing your game, only then will the government have to resign and there'll have to be something new put in its place. Hopefully whatever's new will be based on strong economic principles, foundational principles, which will be based on strong money, hard money, ideally Bitcoin, but even gold would be fine. A gold standard would be fine. But until that happens, it's going to get more crazy. And they're going to use every single dollar that you and I have and earn. They're going to use that to prop up the facade, to prop up the house of cards, because they can just keep printing more of it. And eventually the market will wake up and realize enough's enough. We're already seeing this with like Russia and some other countries, China. You know, a lot of these other superpowers are going to take advantage of this. They're already starting to do things like selling oil for rubles and Bitcoin and yuan and things like that. So it's already happening. There's going to be a straw that breaks the camel's back, though. And when that happens, I just hope we find a way. There's like a semi-peaceful transition, but it's going to be bad. It's going to be ugly. And as it goes throughout history, now and forever, it's always the lower middle classes that pay the price. It's so crazy to me that government preys like a parasite mostly on the lower classes. And those that most prey on the lower middle classes are voted in by those same lower middle classes, because it's the liberals and the Democrats that convince you that they will save you or give you free stuff. And then they do that and everything gets worse because you can't do it. You can't manage it. And people then just vote the next person that's coming in saying, well, I'll give you more free stuff. This is why civilizations collapse. This is why democracy is the biggest threat to civilizations collapsing. And this is why Bitcoin is pretty much going to be a reset for all of it. It takes 40 to 100 hours to truly understand that, to understand why Bitcoin, how it's going to change the world. It just takes a lot of time. I can't shortcut that for you, because you have to really get it. You also have to really get economics and money and all these different things. Like, it's a long journey. What really tipped me over the edge when I was already kind of there was the first 9 episodes of the What is Money podcast with Michael Saylor and Robert Breedlove. I highly recommend that. You will get all the way back into history. You'll get a basic lesson in economics and history and really civilization. And that will help create the foundational principled approach to understanding Bitcoin and money and all the broken things with the state and the government, etc. So that's where I would start. At the very least, you can start buying. Go to Swan. That's my preferred place to buy. $1 cost average in every single day. SwanBitcoin.com/Colin Stuckert, COLIN-STUCKERT. That will help me out. It will help you out. Even if you had 1% of your net worth in Bitcoin, later on, if there is a major reset or collapse, you'll probably actually end up doing better if there is. And if there isn't, you're at least going to accrete value into Bitcoin every single day into the foreseeable future. It'll be volatile, right? So ignore the price. Just keep buying. But over time, 4 years, 10 years, whatever, it's the most important asset there is. It's the most important thing you can own in the 21st century. It's like owning a piece of the internet or TCP/IP protocol the internet is built on. It's like owning a piece of that in the early 1990s or something. Just ridiculous. It's actually even bigger than that. People have no idea. So do the work. Get off zero. If you are a zero Bitcoiner, get off zero. Just keep buying. Just don't sell. That's the key. Just keep buying. Get the Better Human newsletter over at thebetterhuman.co. And if you want to support the show plus your health, go over to wildfoods.co and use code WILDCEO for 15% off. It might even be 20. It might be 17. I keep raising the code because I want people to use my code. But go and use WILDCEO for a substantial amount at checkout. You got our wild collagens, we got our wild cocotropic, which is a great thing to add to coffee or to replace coffee. We have the wild fish oil, which is a standard in our diet. We have the wild collagen, the wild whey. We have a full selection of earth-grown whole food supplements and foods that we use at the family every single day. If you're going to put nutrition in your body, if you're going to invest in your health in any way, what goes in your mouth is always the first and foremost consideration. So get the world's highest quality ingredients over at wildfoods.co and use WILDCEO. Wildfoods.co and use code WILDCEO.